Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. And another lovely dry day yesterday, absolutely fantastic. Hoping for the same today. And wherever you are tuning in from around the world, I do want to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. And for all of those regulars there, you know what I'm about to say, smash that like. No, honestly, this really does help the channel grow and get out to more people. So I do really appreciate those of you that take the time to do that and leave the loving, encouraging, kind comments that you do. That means a lot to me as well. And of course, all the questions, I look back to get back to those as soon as I am able to. So please be patient if there's a little bit of delay on some of those, and keep those coin requests coming. I've got the altcoin show coming up soon. I posted a little bit earlier yesterday. I usually posted it about 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I actually posted it about 10 o'clock. So I'm looking maybe at posting it just 2 or 3 hours after the show. This show usually goes out at around about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So always set your clocks. I'll be looking at releasing that at a regular time so that you can know that it's coming out. Okay, well, let's jump into some of the news, and then we'll look at the Bitcoin charts. And I thought this was absolutely fascinating. September has always seen the high of the month within the first 10 days on average. And like we've already seen the high for September at 59,850. That will be very interesting to see. We can see there that the different dates that are put in the high, and then the average down the bottom there. So the average, so it's talking about the average. Obviously, there's a couple of times, 2012. I actually look at the halving years more so and put more weight. The halving year, the high of the month. So that's certainly interesting where that came in. So 2020 was on the first, and then we were on the 8th, and then on the 19th there. There doesn't seem to be a lot of correlation there. It could happen at any time, people, but on average, it was earlier rather than later. I'm not sure how much weight I'll put on this. I will say that we do know the low of the month for halving years has been on the 2nd, and the 8th. And so far, the low of the month is the 6th. And so will we see the low of the month hold? I think the September 18th federal funds decision will really play into that. And so we'll see what shakes out on that. There's some other economic things and some global stuff that's going on right now we're not going to get into, but certainly that can affect the price. We have the pure multiple has reached the 0.4 range for the first time since the end of 2022. Investors looking for long-term accumulation phase might interpret the current pure multiple as a sign that Bitcoin is undervalued, or at least nearing a market bottom. What have I been saying? That I felt that we had the local bottom on September 6th, or that we were pretty close to it. So certainly this data tends to support that, but let's see what shakes out there on that with the pure multiple. But then you've got this Bitcoin sell wall is back at 58K to 60K, is full of sell orders. Support is around 57, and it just seems like the market makers are determined to hold us in this accumulation range for longer. But at some point, those sell walls are going to get taken off and the price is going to go. Listen, if there wasn't for the price action that is being put there, certain or individuals, I think we would have seen Bitcoin breakout by now. So just hang out there. I do feel a breakout is on the way. Certainly when we have negative funding rates, that's always seems to be a bit of a sign that we're it's good to accumulate. I always like to accumulate when funding rates get negative. That has just tended to be historically a great time to buy. Certainly the hash price signaling a big buying opportunity. You can see here, whenever the hash rate has been at these lows here, we have certainly seen, boom, Bitcoin go up. Again, down here, Bitcoin go up. And over here, are we going to see Bitcoin go up again? So this is very important to know these things. Educate yourself. Knowledge is power, okay? So I do feel that a breakout is imminent here. We also have Bitcoin is signaling a bullish crossover in the daily MACD. And you can see here that we've had a crossover here. And we've started to see some, obviously price has correlated, has gone up. But if we look at the last 5 times this crossover took place, we had move upwards of 10, 21, 14, 42%, and 24%. Is this time different? I think we're going to continue to see moves to the upside here for Bitcoin. Of course, we could see some short-term downside as well. Last year, around the same time, we experienced 222 days of sideways chopping. We just reached day 222 yesterday. I'm not counting up, but there's a handful of altcoins buying today, and certainly I did buy some altcoins as well. I added some SUI to my bag, and I also added a little bit more blub. I'll talk about that in the altcoin show that's coming up in a few hours after this. Stablecoin dominance is rising, and this is not a good sign for cryptocurrency. Historically, a decline in stablecoin dominance is a bullish signal for the crypto market. Certainly, stablecoin dominance is something that we need to keep an eye on, but I do feel that we are going to start to see that come down. And that means, what that means is basically stable coins. That means people are holding stable coins in reserve to buy. Once they start spending those and buying cryptocurrency, that begins to drop. So if that's rising, generally it means people are selling the cryptocurrency into the stable coin. So that's why it's a good metric to have a look at. And we'll look at this at the end of the show. And then the final article I have here, just about taking profits and having a profit-taking strategy. And I get asked about this a few times, and we see here that somebody had $1 million and they basically didn't take any profit, and it went all the way back down to zero, and it was just a pretty sad story. And so what I do want to share about that is about taking profit, just quickly before we look in the charts. And so people ask me that, and I do have some take profit levels in my cheat sheet. So if you haven't checked out my cheat sheet, it's linked below in the description. And I've got all the coins, a bunch of coins, probably 30, 40 coins on there in total, with entries and exits on the way up, but also have some take profits. Like I have some prices for taking profit, but that depends on the entry. So if you have an entry that's a lot higher, you might take profit a little bit later. If somebody entered a lot sooner, they might take profit a little bit sooner. And so let me go through some fundamentals that go through into taking profit. Number one is you should really know when you're going to take profit when you place the trade. You know how much you're going to be buying at, or you set a buy order. You need to know how much you're going to be selling at. You've got to don't just work out your buy targets, work out your sell targets beforehand as well. Or, sometimes you don't have time and you get in the trade. Then you should look and say, okay, where am I going to take profit? What are the levels? That's why I have the cheat sheet to help guide and show where I'm looking to take profits on these trades, okay? Then secondly, how much capital have you invested? If you've got $100 and it goes up by 20%, you've made a whopping $20. Now, for some people, that might mean a lot, and I don't mean to demean that, but certainly it's not as much as somebody who puts in $1,000 and has made $200, or somebody who puts in $10,000 has made $2,000. So somebody who puts in $10,000 has made $2,000. You might want to take profit at 20%. But if somebody put in 100 and it's only at 20, you might want to wait till that 100 turns into 300, and then you can take your original capital 100 out as profit, or you can take 200 out as profit and leave that 100 in to ride. So those are a couple of profit-taking thoughts for you there. Also, how much do you have of that coin? Now, you might think, oh, I've only got one of those coins, and if I sell some, I won't have as much of that coin. If it pumps, then I dilute myself. And so you want to understand how much of that coin did you get, and how, and what are the charts looking like? For example, are we at key Fibonacci levels? Has it just equaled its all-time high? Usually if a coin gets back to its all-time high, initially it gets a little bit rejected, and it may take a few goes. And so sometimes that can be a good time to take profit. Come up to a key area, like key resistance, important resistance. Has it hit like a key moving average or key EMA, and you know that it could pull back from there, and that might be a good time to take profit. The relative strength index, are they at the top? And are they really, really overboard? That might be a good time to take profit. Or if funding rates ridiculously high or open interest. If you check out my life-changing game series, I teach how to identify local tops and local bottoms. And this is why have become incredibly accurate at calling the bottoms. I called the bottom in June, in July, and in August, okay? And we'll see if the September bottom was in on the 6th of September. I am adding a little caveat there because we do have the Fed, and the Fed could certainly come in and rain on that bottom parade, because if they don't cut rates, could see some downside, and that September 6th low could be breached, okay? Certainly, I will update after the September 18th meeting then. Also, when there is greed or extreme greed, that could be a good time to sell and take profits as well, or it could be a combination of many of these things. And this is why on this channel, if you follow me in this channel, or if you're in the Discord, even better, because I only give updates here on YouTube once a day, and that's it. In the Discord, I am inconsistently throughout the day giving updates, and certainly if I'm selling something or if I'm buying something, there's where you're going to find out about it first. You can sign up for the Discord. It's in the description below. It's linked in the description. It's also linked in the cheat sheet as well. The Stocks with Josh Discord, the greatest Discord on the planet. I'm in the crypto chat there daily, engaging with one of the most amazing communities and people there. Absolutely incredible. Okay, so that's just a little bit about taking profits. And so, but also generally speaking, as a general rule, many traders online, including myself, will encourage people to take profits at like 3 or 5x. And again, depending upon some of those factors. I've said, if you've only put $10 into a coin, you might take profit at 5 or 10x rather than 3x, okay? And so you have to decide that for yourself, but have a plan, because those who fail to plan to fail, okay? And so then you might take profit at 5 or 10 or 20x or 50x, but maybe those coins won't get to 20 or 50x, and you're left thinking, oh, I'm going to take profit there. Certainly, this is why I like having 3 different bags: the hold bag, the swing accumulate bag, and the day trade bag, because it means that with the hold bag, I can kind of hold those a little bit longer, because I can swing trade them. You know, if a coin goes up and you're up 100%, you're like, oh, I don't want to take profit until I'm like, until my $100 is 300. And then it just keeps going back and coming up, and you're like, okay, I'm up 50%. Now I'm at 100%. Now I'm up 50%. Now I'm up 100%. Well, you could have sold it there in your swing and left your hodl alone, and then bought back and then sell, and then bought back and then sell. And all the while, your hodl bag just sits there, and you've made a ton of money on that coin. And then when your hodl bag gets to 3x, then you can take profit on that. And then you have your day trading one where you're getting it even more quicker. You're basically trading on small, tiny movements of just cents or dollars, depending on the coin. So check out my life-changing game series, and I teach that in there. It's free. It's in YouTube, but I also linked it for your convenience in the cheat sheet. Now, here's the deal, okay? It's very simple. How do I have 2 different portfolios? And you have to have 2 different exchanges, okay? Just have 2 different exchanges. You might trade, let's just say SUI as a coin that we've been talking about quite a bit the last few days. Let's just say that you trade that on one exchange, okay? And you hold it there, and you bought 100 of it. It's up to 200 now, and you don't want to take profit on it yet. And then over here, you just buy SUI on a different exchange, and you just are swing trading it over here. And it's just so simple. Just have 2 different exchanges. Some exchanges do have separate portfolios. I'll tell you what those exchanges are, but your country may not give you access to that, okay? Qcoin has a dual portfolio where you can have one for one coin, and you can have 2 separate coins in 2 separate portfolios. Bybit is another one, and Blofin is another one. Those are the only 3 that I'm aware of off the top of my head that have that, but otherwise just trade it in separate exchanges. Super simple. These days you can just quickly log in with your thumb or face into one exchange, make the trade, vice versa, and you have all your buy and sell orders set up anyway in advance. Just make it all automatic, okay? So definitely make sure that you are taking profits on the way up. we had that incredible blub trade. I think I was up 400 or 500% at one time. But it's, oh yeah, I'm up. But if it goes to zero and you didn't make any money, you didn't take any profits. Screenshots and bragging are not, it's not real until you realize it. And I'm not saying that on you should sell totally out of the position, but you could at least take your original capital out. Like if a coin gets to 5x, you put 100 in, it's at 500, you could take $100 out in profit. Now the rest can just run. Or you can take $400 out in profit and let the 100 run that you have left. Now, of course, you'll have only 20% left of what you of the coin, so you dilute yourself a little bit there, but it's better than absolutely having nothing to show for it. Okay, so make sure that you're taking profits on the way up and you have a take profit strategy. I cover this more in depth in my life-changing gain series, and I talk about the dual portfolios. It's a game changer in my opinion, and so I found it to be really helpful, and I wanted to share that with you. Okay, we're going to quickly look at the Bitcoin charts here, and as we can see, Bitcoin hasn't done a whole lot here. We're still stuck under the 200 EMA on the daily, the 50-day moving average there. So until we break this $60,000 area, we could just bang around here. Remember that Bitcoin last year, the 200 EMA, it sat under there from July through to October, and then when it broke through, it didn't come back and just absolutely melted faces and took off, as they say. And certainly, even if once we get back there, there's going to be some pretty severe resistance there at 65,000. You can see there's even a Lux Aldo block there, order block, and there'll be some more sell wall there. That's where we broke down from. You can see we broke down over here. Now, as far as if you're wanting to get into Bitcoin and think of what is a good entry, please see my cheat sheet, but also trend line has been some pretty good support down there around 56. If we lost that, we may come down to this 54 area again. But I will say this as well. Remember, we have that CME gap between 52,900 and about 54. And so will we come down and fill this? We don't need to fill it right away. Bitcoin could moon up to 100, 150K and then eventually come back and fill that, or maybe not fill it at all. There are some CME gaps that never get filled, but majority of them do. And recently, they have been filled more quickly within we do have a CME gap also, by the way, up ahead at 64K as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'm certainly keeping an eye on that 51,500 level and that 50. There's a lot of buy orders at 49,900. So around that 50 to 51 area, if we were to breach this September 6th low, certainly then that's an area of interest here. And you can see there's a huge order block here at around 51. So I think this level we'd find some support here. But that's if we were to come down to that level there. And at the moment, this is the low here for September. Okay, and we were talking about Bitcoin dominance. What is Bitcoin dominance doing? So Bitcoin dominance had a nice, we've seen it pull back, and the alts had a little bit of a run, and now Bitcoin's dominance is starting to rise. However, USDT dominance has started to fall. And so this is a good sign for the crypto market. And ideally, I'd like to see this come all the way back down to the 200 EMA down here on the daily, sitting around the 5.36%. That would absolutely, and the 50-day moving average here is at 5.66%. That would be great for the overall crypto market there. So keep an eye, put that in your trading view, USDT dominance. All you've got to do is type in USDT dominance, or bring it up for you, or Bitcoin dominance there as well. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the show today. The show today. I hope you enjoyed the show today. And remember, I know some of you have been waiting. I haven't said it yet. That this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Today, I hope you were entertained, as the great Decimus Meridius would say from the movie Gladiator. I hope you're having a great day. And until the next video, which will be real soon, happy trading.